Fishermen have captured the clearest mermaid footage ever caught on camera. And nothing about these creatures matches what science claims to understand. Why do their bodies resemble multiple species at once? Why do their movements look intentional, almost rehearsed? And why does every expert who views the footage admit the same thing? This should not exist. If these beings are real, what else has been living beneath us, watching in silence? The answers begin with the first frame of this footage, the haul that shouldn't exist. No one on that trawler expected a routine pull to turn into the kind of footage Coast Guards joke about, but secretly fear. It writhed on the deck like something dragged unwillingly out of a dream. Its jaws snapped with a cry that felt rehearsed by evolution, but abandoned before completion. The tail hammered the metal floor in desperate arcs, each impact echoing like a reminder that humans were never meant to touch every corner of this planet. And as the creature's trembling torso pulled against the hands gripping it, you could almost sense an emotion too precise to be animal. Something closer to the panic of a person shoved onto a stage they never auditioned for, while the sea behind them roared like an insulted witness. What if this wasn't a discovery at all, but a warning that the ocean is beginning to return what we forced it to swallow? The deckside screamer. The moment fishermen caught this creature on camera, no one on the vessel could explain why its body thrashed like something filmed halfway between panic and intelligence. Its jaws snapped with a terrifying rhythm. Its eyes rolled back as if scanning the world for a route home. Its armor-like scales folded along its spine in a pattern so precise that scientists later claimed it resembled engineered plating rather than natural growth. And the way its gill lines pulsed under the rain made the entire scene look like a living engine dragged out of a depth where even pressure refuses to share its secrets. One fisherman said the creature's movements reminded him of a stray dog cornered under a storm. Except this dog had a face split open like a double hinge and teeth curved inward as if shaped to hold more than prey. The next footage filmed that day would make the world even more uneasy. The net-borne apparition. No one believed fishermen caught something like this until it was filmed on camera, its body tangled in the net like a misinterpreted sculpture from a museum of forbidden myths. Its limbs bent too gracefully for a creature in pain. Its torso shimmered like metal dipped in moonlight. The elongated ribs, the hollowed abdomen, and the uncanny symmetry of its face caused scientists to compare it, quietly, to depictions of the Apkallu, the half-human sages from Mesopotamian lore, said to emerge from the sea to warn civilizations. Though this being looked more like a warning itself than a messenger, with its mouth frozen mid-breath as though dragged upward before the inhale could finish. One deckhand whispered that lifting it felt like lifting a drowned child, wearing a mask carved by someone who had never seen a human, but tried anyway. When the net tightened around its arms, something in the footage shifted the air of the entire deck. The face no one expected. The world had seen strange things caught on camera, but no one expected fishermen caught a creature whose face looked almost rehearsed for nightmares. Its jaw unhinged in a terrifying gloom. Its hair clung to its skull like river weeds. The spined tail dragged across the metal deck with a scraping sound that made scientists later remark it was the closest thing they'd heard to an underwater warning, and the creature's throat pulsed with a rhythm too measured to be random, as if it were trying to speak through anatomy that nature abandoned halfway through construction. One worker swore the eyes followed him with a human sort of accusation, like someone reviewing the footage would eventually recognize that the monster wasn't the thing lying on the deck, but the hands forcing it still. The last seconds filmed before the clip cuts have unsettled every analyst who has scanned it, the thing they held down. No one expected the on-camera footage to start with three men bracing themselves as if wrestling a live generator. Yet fishermen caught something that moved with the violent snap of a creature that refused the world above. Its torso flexed in sharp, terrifying waves. Its throat opened wider than any jaw should allow. The pale rings across its chest rippled like muscle fibers tearing against gravity. And scientists later admitted they had never filmed a body that reacted to open air with such coordinated resistance. Almost like it understood every hand restraining it and rejected each one with the precision of something built for the deep and not for witnesses. One of the men whispered that touching its skin felt like gripping a wet furnace wrapped in nerves. A description no one has managed to explain without shivering. Whatever they forced onto that deck didn't rise from the sea willingly, and the next seconds filmed prove it beyond doubt. The screaming maw. It didn't begin with panic, just the quiet shock of seeing something filmed on camera that shouldn't have a face at all. Yet one opened in a vertical shriek that made even the rain sound afraid. Its chest expanded like a bellows primed for warning. Its fingers curled as if bracing for a blow. The folds of flesh along its sides quivered in a pattern so rhythmic that scientists scanned the footage frame by frame, claiming the movements resembled defensive postures documented in deep-sea cephalopods, though nothing in the ocean has ever carried a mouth shaped like a tunnel built to swallow sound itself. A fisherman hissed that the creature looked like it was trying to pull itself back into the storm, and the thought alone unsettled everyone. Reviewing the recording, when its spine arched upward, the entire deck seemed to recoil, as though the sea wanted its lost thing returned immediately. The upward lunge. For all the terrifying things filmed around the world, no one anticipated a creature that tried to rise instead of flee. Caught on camera thrashing upward with the force of something that had never been held down in its life. Its teeth clattered in a rattling snarl. Its arms shot toward the nearest sleeve. Rows of bone-like plates pressed through its silver skin, and scientists later said the footage scanned like a biological contradiction. Its body looked armored for battle while its movements resembled a trapped swimmer fighting for the last pocket of air, a combination so unnatural it left even veteran researchers speechless. One deckhand admitted he felt the creature's tail slam the floor like a judge's gavel, as if a verdict had been delivered against them the moment they touched it. The final second film captures emotion none of the crew has been able to describe without trembling. The mouth that fought back. No one watching the filmed on-camera footage could understand why the creature's entire chest heaved upward, as if trying to vault itself back into the ocean before the fishermen caught it fully. Its jaw snapped in tight, vicious pulses. Its throat folded open like a second mouth. The ridge plating along its sides flexed in quick, terrifying waves that made scientists shocked when they later scanned the footage, noting how every muscle reacted not like instinct, but like strategy. Each movement aimed at slipping free. Each twist shaped by a mind conditioned for depths humans never step into. A mind that rejected the world above the way a drowning man rejects fire. One fisherman swore he felt the creature's breath vibrate through his gloves as if it were warning him personally. The last twitch recorded on camera changed the room temperature for everyone who reviewed it. The deckside breakout. The chaos didn't start with panic. It started with disbelief because no one expected something caught on camera to move with the brutal acceleration of an animal that knew exactly what freedom felt like. It thrashed so hard the floor groaned. Its tail slammed in snapping waves. The layered armor down its spine flexed like overlapping steel shutters fighting to open. And scientists who filmed the slowed footage later admitted the creature's attempts to regain control of its body resembled escape responses in apex predators. Except no predator on record bends its torso with this kind of coordinated violence, as if its bones were arranged to punish anyone who tried restraining it. One fisherman said its skin tightened beneath his grip, like a coiled cable about to recoil, an image that stayed with him far longer than the footage itself. The moment its tail twisted sideways, even the boat seemed to brace for impact. The siren they never expected. Growing shouldn't have looked human, yet the creature filmed on camera twisted upright in a way no one on the boat could forget, revealing the amber fins and pale torso that made fishermen caught off guard stumble backward. Its arms braced like a runner pushing off the blocks, its tail unfurled with deliberate force. The shimmering scales along its waist reflected light in patterns identical to motifs recorded in Greek siren mosaics. Something scientists shocked by the footage later confirmed when they scanned the images, noting that the creature's spine alignment matched descriptions once dismissed as symbolic mythology, as though the old stories were anatomical reports no one believed. One sailor said the creature lifted its head with the focus of someone choosing whether to flee or retaliate, and no description since has captured that moment's weight. When the camera caught its final turn, even the ocean behind it seemed to lean closer. The net-thrashed anomaly. No one reviewing the filmed footage could agree on what moment shocked them most. The instant the creature snapped upright, or the way the entire boat lurched as if the world itself rejected what fishermen caught on camera. Its tail carved violent arcs across the floor. Its torso folded and twisted with terrifying precision. The pale underbelly, stretched tight like wet parchment, flashed between the net's coils while its muscle bands contracted in a sequence scientists later analyzed as coordinated resistance, an eerie term for movements that looked uncomfortably close to trained reflexes rather than instinct. Like a creature rehearsing an escape, it had waited centuries to perform the moment it touched air. The splintering thud when its spine struck the deck echoed like something old trying to announce its return. Every frame filmed afterward feels less like documentation and more like a warning, the blur that fought the net. The first thing filmed wasn't a face or a fin. It was the blur of a body whipping so fast that even the camera struggled to lock on to what fishermen caught in the net that morning. The deck rattled under its weight. The ropes snapped out of alignment. The creature's limbs, slick and elongated, lashed in alternating directions like a machine built for breaking restraints rather than surviving them. And scientists who later scanned the slow-motion footage noted that every muscle contracted in staggered bursts, a biological pattern seen only in species built to withstand crushing pressure at abyssal depths, where movement itself is a negotiation with death. The spray that burst from its skin wasn't water, but a translucent film that evaporated on contact, leaving streaks like fingerprints burned into the deck. No one has explained why the footage darkens just as its body turns toward the camera. The net-risen horror. There is a moment in the filmed footage, only a second long, when the creature's head breaks the surface of the net and the entire crew recoils as if the world itself shifted under them. Its gills flared in sharp vertical slits. Its fingers spread like a fan of bone. The exposed torso, covered in thin overlapping plates, shuddered with a rhythm so deliberate that scientists shocked by the recording later compared it to defensive stances mapped in extinct marine reptiles. Though none of those fossils ever suggested a throat that opened in a perfect oval, capable of swallowing half a helm's width. The net didn't restrain it, it framed it, outlining each twitch like an exhibit forced onto the deck, before anyone was ready to comprehend what filmed itself into history. When its tail curled around the railing, even the wind seemed to hesitate. The thing that shouldn't surface. No one expected the filmed footage to start with a creature rolling out of the net like a broken suit of armor, suddenly waking up, its metallic plates clattering across the deck as if fishermen caught something built, not born. The tail whipped in heavy arcs. The torso jerked in stuttering jolts. Each segment of its plated spine shifted independently, producing a grinding hum scientists later described as mechanical through biological means. A phrase that unsettled even those used to dissecting deep-sea anomalies, because whatever this was, it reacted to air like a thing insulted by exposure. Its head tilted, not searching, but calculating. And the wet sheen dripping between the armor ridges evaporated faster than seawater ever should, leaving dark streaks like smudged graphite. The final second film shows it lifting its chest as if preparing for something bigger than escape. The window of the drowned choir. Long before this footage was filmed, legends warned sailors that some songs were not meant for human ears. But no one believed them until the camera captured a circle of figures moving in synchronized arcs just beyond the glass. Their gestures too deliberate to be instinct, too ritualistic to be random. One raised an arm in a slow spiral, another pressed a palm to the barrier. Bioluminescent trails slid across their tails like glowing calligraphy, matching patterns found in ancient depictions of the Nereids, sea nymphs said to guard thresholds between worlds. Yet scientists shocked by the footage insisted the choreography resembled communication, not worship. The faces weren't hostile, they were focused, as if evaluating whoever dared observe them. For a breathless moment, everything froze except the current curling around them. When one figure swam forward, its eyes held the camera with an intent impossible to misread. The face beneath the net. The moment this was filmed on camera, silence overtook the deck. Not fear, but the stunned realization that fishermen caught something staring back at them from inside the net. Its expression too composed for a creature dragged from the deep. The eyes remained unblinking. The jaw trembled without sound. Pale strands clung to its head, like riverweed woven with bone, and the ridged spine beneath its skin pulsed in long intervals that scientists later identified as controlled breathing. Not panic, meaning it endured the capture with a calmness more unsettling than thrashing ever could. Its shoulders rolled forward as though it were preparing to stand. A motion wrong for a creature with a tail, but natural for something accustomed to uprights. One arm slid free of the rope, fingers flexing once as if testing gravity. The next frame film cuts out just as its head turns upward, the surge that followed them. No one on that boat expected anything more than rough water, yet the filmed footage shows dark shapes rising and falling beside the hull like a pack moving with intention. Each crest breaking just long enough for fishermen caught in the moment to realize the heads were not shaped like any marine mammal. The wakes sharpened behind them. The silhouettes closed distance fast. Spray lifted around the figures as though the sea itself pushed them forward. And scientists shocked by the recording later noted that the movement pattern matched cooperative pursuit behaviors seen in predators that hunt together. Except these bodies moved far too upright, far too synchronized, with arms breaking the surface at angles that belonged to a species built for something other than swimming. A single shape turned its face toward the camera, breaking rhythm long enough to acknowledge the observer. That glance remains the most unsettling second ever filmed at open sea. The deckside awakening. The camera didn't catch a splash first. It caught stillness, the heavy kind that arrives before something dangerous decides what to do next. And then the creature twisted upward in a way that made every fisherman on deck brace themselves without speaking. The ropes strained around its limbs. The boards groaned beneath its weight. Its skin reflected patches of cold daylight like polished stone. And scientists later examining the film footage identified pigment shifts running under its surface, a biological signal used by deep-sea species when under extreme stress. Except this shift traveled upward, toward the head, as though the creature were preparing its senses rather than protecting its body. The mouth stayed closed, but the eyes widened with a recognition too precise to ignore, as if it understood the arrangement of the deck, the hands, the trap. Something in its posture suggested calculation. The next second caught on camera ended any idea that it was helpless. The net that revealed a stranger. It began with confusion, just a tangled net shifting on the floor, until the film footage shows a hand pushing through the mesh, fingers too long, too jointed, too intentional for anything fishermen caught before. The net lifted from within. The mass underneath expanded. As the creature pressed against the green lattice, its ribcage flared wide like something relearning how to breathe. And scientists reviewing the footage later pointed out a secondary set of muscles contracting beneath the first layer, a trait seen in species capable of sudden acceleration. Yet here it was used not to flee, but to brace, to rise. The head tilted sideways, revealing eyes that lacked the glaze of panic and instead held a clarity impossible to mistake, awareness. When it pulled one arm free, the net didn't fall open. It parted as if the creature were choosing how to emerge. The final frame film captures the moment before that choice completes. The blue-tailed escape. The footage opens with a blur, nothing but motion, until the camera steadies just long enough to reveal fishermen caught wrestling a creature whose tail alone looked capable of overturning the boat. The net snapped against the deck. The creature's shoulders heaved in rhythmic surges. Every contour of its slate blue body rippled like a tensioned cable ready to recoil, and scientists scanning the recorded frames later identified microflex patterns along its spine, a trait linked to species that launch upward in vertical bursts. Except this one wasn't escaping the sea. It was dragging itself toward the center of the deck, as if the confinement triggered a behavior meant for ambush, not flight. Its webbed hands slapped the boards with precision, each placement more stable than the last, revealing balance no creature with a tail that size should logically possess. When the final knot loosened, the shift in its posture was unmistakable. It wasn't thinking about running. The winged siren they pulled up. The filmed footage begins mid-struggle, the creature already towering over the net, its fins spreading like wings caught between instinct and fury, each sweep scattering water in sheets that made everyone on deck stumble. The mouth opened in a vertical flare. the torso bent with unnatural grace. The ridges along its silver body rippled in opposite directions, and scientists later, shocked by the recording, noted that the counter-rotation indicated a dual-structured musculature, something seen only in species built for maneuvering through tight stone channels in deep caves, not in open water. Yet here it was, fighting as if every motion had been rehearsed in darkness. Its arms sliced outward, revealing joints designed for torque rather than reach, and the net clung to its scales like fabric caught on blades. When the creature lifted its chest high enough to cast a shadow over the men restraining it, the camera shook, not from the wind, but from whoever was holding it. Maybe these encounters were never accidents but reminders, brief, terrifying proof that we share the sea with beings who have watched us far longer than we've watched them. Every frame filmed, every creature caught on camera, pushes us closer to a truth no one is prepared to face, yet impossible to ignore. If this is only what rises by mistake, what waits below by intention? The deeper we look, the more the ocean looks back, and this story's only beginning. Stay with us, follow the evidence, and subscribe, because the next discovery might change everything you thought you knew.